Hey fam, welcome to Babbling Tat. As always, I want to start off by saying thank you for being here, wherever you are and whatever you're doing right now. Thank you for choosing to spend this time with me. Instead of the usual keep moving vibe today, we're going to be talking about not moving. We're hitting the brakes and diving into the power of the pause. We live in a world that tells us to go, go, go. And if you're anything like me, you probably feel guilty as hell when you're not doing something. Anything. But what if slowing down is actually the key to showing up as your most badass, authentic self? Let's dive into it. So, let's start off by talking about this hustle or productivity-based mindset that so many of us have ingrained in our brains in one way or another from one thing or another. It's that voice that whispers, mine yells, you should be doing more. You should be working harder. You should have it all figured out. You should. Now, let me tell you, living in should is exhausting. I've been there. I am there. And what I realize and remember every time is that when I'm constantly in go mode, I lose sight of myself and of the bigger picture as a whole. I become what I think I should be and doing the things I think I should do instead of just being and doing me. Here's the thing, and I want you to remember this, and it's really, really easy to forget, so I'm gonna say it twice. Taking a pause doesn't mean you're falling behind. It means you're taking a breath so you can actually live instead of just functioning. All right? Taking a pause does not mean that you are falling behind. It means you are taking a breath so that you can actually live instead of just function and survive. Taking a pause does not make you any less of a person. Taking a pause does not mean you've given up. Taking a pause definitely does not make you weak. Actually, it takes a lot of strength. So, what happens when we actually stop and breathe for a second? Magic, duh. But no, really. When we pause, we give ourselves space to check in, to ask, how am I really? Instead of just plowing through life on autopilot. We get a chance to course correct and change the playlist if we need to. We allow ourselves to make magic happen by intentionally taking a pause to take our power back from whatever's been putting us into autopilot. And science backs it up. Pausing helps with stress, creativity, and even decision making. Imagine this, your brain actually works better when you rest. Weird, right? Who would have thought? So if you think that running yourself into burnout is the way, I'm sorry to say, but it really isn't. And you're actually hurting yourself more by doing so. But we'll dive into burnout on another episode. Now, here's the part where it gets even cooler. Pausing isn't just about rest. All right, like if you're anything like me, resting is hard. I do not relax or rest easily. Like I can't. It's just, my brain's just broken in that sense. So if rest is hard for you too, I want you to think of this framework as giving yourself a chance to rediscover yourself. You're taking a pause from the world and giving yourself a moment for you to rediscover you. When we're constantly in motion, we don't have time to reflect on who we actually are. We get so wrapped up in tasks and in goals and in expectations that we forget to just exist. We lose sight of the beauty of life within us and all around us. This is where getting weird comes in. When you take the time to slow down, you reconnect with what makes you, you. You remember what you love, what excites you, what makes you different. And let's be real, being different is the best thing about you. And it really is all that in a bag of chips. So if you've been feeling out of touch with yourself, the answer probably isn't to push harder. It's maybe to pause, let yourself be. Like, hang out with you for a little bit. So I know what you might be thinking. That sounds great, but I don't know how to slow down without feeling like I'm wasting time, right? Like what I just said, like to rest, I need to be productive. And when I'm resting, I'm not productive. So like the balance is just never like there. I get it. I have that balance and conversation issue with myself way too often. But here are a few things to help embrace the pause without spiraling into that guilt. Try scheduling your pause. Like literally put it in your calendar. Even if it's just 5, 10, 15 minutes, block it out in your calendar and give yourself time to just be. Remind yourself that rest is productive. Post it, put it in your phone, wherever you need the reminder, because sometimes, it slips. But remind yourself that rest really is productive. Like you wouldn't tell your phone it's lazy for needing to charge, right? Same applies to you. Resting is hard. Use that pause to reconnect. Do something that brings you joy. Paint, dance, journal, sit in the silence, stare at the sky. Maybe go tractor hunting. Whatever makes you feel alive. Go do more of that. Challenge the guilt. When that little guilt gremlin, little troll thing pops up, ask yourself, would I say this to my best friend? If the answer is a no, let it the F go. We are our own. We are our own best friends. I think that was it. If not, I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down by now. We need to remember to be our own friend. And it is okay, especially when we're talking out the nasty goblin, gremlin trolls that are embedded in our heads. We need to get them the F out. And it is okay to be our own friend, to be there to stand up for ourselves in those times, because we know deep, deep down inside that none of the things that those little nasty little mites spew is actually true. So fam, my challenge for you this week, take a pause, even if it's just 5 minutes. Give yourself the space to breathe, to check in with yourself. And remember, you are a whole damn person, not just a productivity machine. Like, come on. And while you're at it, embrace your weird. Because the world does not need a polished version of you. It needs the real, beautifully messy, authentic you. And nobody, and I mean nobody, is youer than you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you shared it with a friend or shared it on your socials and tagged me in the show. Connect with the podcast directly on Instagram at Babbling Tat Podcast or connect with me at xxtatqueenxx. You can also visit the website tatscorner.com for more resources, info about P3, shop RDC, read the blog, join the community, or just stay connected. The link is down in the description. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the flip side.